Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you.
What I want.
The story of a priest driven by ambition,
Never be what I want.
tormented by desire.
Richard Chamberlain, the man who captivated millions with his soulful gaze and soft voice as Father Ralph in The Thornbirds, passed away peacefully in Hawaii on March 29, 2025, just 2 days before his 91st birthday. Behind the glittering Hollywood stardom was a life marred by loneliness, self-rejection, and a quiet struggle to be true to himself. He was a screen prince from the 1960s to the 1980s, with iconic roles in Dr. Kildare, Shogun, The Thornbirds, and more. But behind that radiant image was a wounded soul, a man who lived a double life, one admired by the public and one hidden in silence. In a society rife with prejudice, Chamberlain lived in fear of rejection, fear of breaking the image of the ideal man that the world had imposed on him. It wasn't until he was 69, after years of therapy, that he finally found the courage to come out in his memoir, Shattered Love. It wasn't just a confession, it was a release, for himself and for anyone who had ever hidden their true self. In a voice both soft and sincere, he shared his deeply loving relationship with Martin Rabbit, the companion who had been with him through thick and thin, the editor of his book, and the man who stood silently in his shadow so Richard could shine. Richard once said, "I'm no longer the handsome man to young women, so I'm not afraid to break any hearts." The words were both a relief and a sadness, a breath of fresh air after a life of not breathing freely. But in the end, he found peace, in love, in truth, and no longer having to play a role in real life. Richard Chamberlain's life was a quiet love song, not because he failed, but because he lived, he loved, and he suffered so much in silence. Amidst the spotlight and the masks that life required him to wear, he remained kind, introspective, and deeply human. Did Father Ralph's eyes ever move you? Did Richard's performances ever bring tears to your eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join us in remembering a man who spent his life loving quietly, living fully, and leaving behind a legacy that still touches people's hearts.
You're the only thing I'll see forever.
Carol D'Andrea, the eternal flame of West Side Story, has died. Carol D'Andrea, the beloved actress who made a lasting impression as Velma in the original 1957 Broadway production of West Side Story and its 1961 classic film, has died at the age of 87. She died March 11th at her home in Santa Monica of heart failure, her daughter Andrea Doven confirmed. Though she stepped away from the spotlight decades ago, her artistic fire never dimmed. Born in 1937 in Altoona, Pennsylvania, D'Andrea faced the pain of losing her parents in a car accident when she was 16. She turned down a college scholarship and moved to New York, her passion for acting never wavering. That determination led her to play Velma, a rich girl who falls in love with Riff, in West Side Story, and she was later one of only 6 original Broadway cast members cast in the film adaptation. After marrying Tony Award-winning actor Robert Morse, D'Andrea gave up her acting career to focus on raising her 3 daughters, all of whom pursued artistic pursuits. She devoted herself to teaching acting, from Carnegie Hall in New York to Hollywood studios, continuing her work even during the COVID pandemic by offering online classes until a week before her death. Carol D'Andrea passed away on the 44th anniversary of her death, a day she always referred to as the day I changed my life. More than just a performer, she was a symbol of resilience, grace, and unwavering devotion to her craft. We bid her farewell with deep respect and gratitude for her lifelong dedication to art.
Cancer, because somebody say, "Oh, you fought cancer." I said, "No, I didn't. I embraced it."
Robert Watts, the prolific producer behind blockbusters like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home in West Sussex, England, on September 30th, 2024, at the age of 86. The sad news was confirmed by his agent Julian Owen, who called him a great friend and client who helped create some of the most iconic films in cinema history. He quickly established himself as a production manager on Star Wars, becoming a co-producer on The Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark. With Return of the Jedi, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Robert Watts helped shape an entire golden age of cinema, with a combined gross of over $3.34 billion worldwide. Though often behind the scenes, he was an integral part of the journey to creating characters and worlds that will last forever. Behind the scenes, however, Watts faced many personal and professional challenges. The pressures of large-scale productions often meant long, grueling hours, difficult creative negotiations, and the burden of managing teams to tight deadlines. In later life, his failing health limited his mobility, and he relied on his close friend and carer Sue Rummery to accompany him to film events and conventions. Despite these hardships, his spirit remained unshaken, and his greatest wish, to see Harrison Ford one last time, was fulfilled at the London premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny in 2023. Robert Watts has left a huge void in the hearts of film lovers, but his legacy will live on, not just on the silver screen, but in the memories of millions of moviegoers around the world. Farewell, Captain of Incredible Adventures.
Eh bien, je ne comptais plus sur vous. Vous êtes parti tellement brusquement ce matin. Je croyais vous avoir fait peur.
A quiet light has gone out in the world of cinema, a light that once sparkled with elegance, intelligence, and timeless mystery. On Friday, February 14th, 2025, at the age of 97, French actress Geneviève Page passed away peacefully at her home in Paris. Her granddaughter, actress Zoe Guillemot, confirmed. With her passing, we say goodbye not just to a performer, but to a presence, charming, daring, and unforgettable. In a career spanning more than 5 decades, Page was known for her captivating performances in Belle de Jour, El Cid, and The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. In Luis Buñuel's Belle de Jour, 1967, she played Madame Anaïs, a calm and mysterious brothel owner whose brilliant chemistry with Catherine Deneuve's character left an indelible mark on cinema history. Her performance, both majestic and intimate, won her critical acclaim and a nomination from the National Society of Film Critics. Born Geneviève Bonjean in Paris in 1927, she grew up in a world steeped in art. Her father was a respected collector and partner of Christian Dior. She rose to fame in Fanfan la Tulipe and went on to shine across the international film and stage. Yet behind her calmness lies a quiet resilience. Page suffered the loss of her husband in 2011, battled chronic health problems in old age, and faced the loneliness of aging in an industry that often forgets its greats. Yet she never sought sympathy, only the dignity and freedom to retreat on her own terms. Though time has gently taken her from the limelight, Geneviève Page remains an icon of cinematic grace. Her passing closes a bright chapter in cinema history, but the echoes of her artistry and her unmistakable presence will live on for generations to come. The melodies that Maria Tipo once conjured were more than just sound. They were whispers of the soul, rare moments of purity in a turbulent world. The legendary Italian pianist, often called the artist of artists, passed away on February 10th, 2025, at her home in Florence at the age of 93. She not only conquered the world with her flawless technique, but also shaped a deeply expressive and distinctive Italian school of piano playing, a place where emotion and intellect intertwined in perfect harmony. From her early years in Naples, Maria inherited the musical legacy of the great Ferruccio Busoni through her mother, who had studied under him. At just 17, she won first prize at the Geneva International Music Competition, marking the beginning of a brilliant career that included performances with orchestras such as the Berlin Philharmonic and the Boston Symphony. However, after grueling years of touring in the United States, she gradually stepped away from the stage, choosing instead a quieter life devoted to musical education, a calling she viewed as a spiritual mission. Maria once confided that the loneliness behind the spotlight had worn her down, and the emotional fatigue pushed her to turn away from fame. The concert lasts only a couple of hours, and then you are alone with yourself again. Yet in silence, she remained tireless, recording, teaching, and igniting a passion for classical music in hundreds of students across Europe, especially through the works of Scarlatti, Clementi, Busoni, and Schumann. Maria Tipo was not only an artist, she was a guardian of true artistry, a testament to grace and dedication. Her passing leaves a deep void in the world of music, but the sounds she left behind will resonate for generations. Farewell to a great soul, a woman who made music her life and her eternal legacy.
In a river of trouble, you about to drown. Sing, hold on.
The fiery, soul-drenched anthems of Soul Man, Hold On, I'm Comin', and I Thank You, that once ignited stages around the world, have now fallen silent. Sam Moore, the soaring tenor voice of the legendary duo Sam and Dave, passed away on January 10th, 2025, in Coral Gables, Florida, at the age of 89. He died in the hospital following surgery. The exact cause was not confirmed, according to his wife and longtime manager, Joyce Moore. Known as the Sultans of Sweat and Double Dynamite, Sam and Dave captivated audiences with electrifying performances and a gospel-infused sound that transcended genre and race. They dominated the R&B charts in the 1960s and helped pave the way for black artists to reach mainstream audiences. Yet behind the curtain, their journey was marked by addiction, tension, and multiple breakups. Sam and Dave Prater, though musical soulmates, were never truly close outside of the spotlight. After years lost in darkness and struggle, Moore found redemption and rebirth in what would become the most transformative chapter of his life. Battling personal demons and the fallout from a fractured partnership, he faced addiction, obscurity, and health challenges that nearly ended both his career and life. But everything began to change when he met and married Joyce, the woman who became his anchor, his champion, and his second chance. Through her unwavering love and tireless dedication, Sam rebuilt not only his voice, but his spirit. With Joyce by his side, he returned to the stage with grace and purpose, earning his rightful place among the legends. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992 and honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019. It was a comeback not just of a career, but of a soul. Sam Moore was more than a soul man. He was a witness to the soul of a generation, a voice of resilience and passion, and a timeless symbol of black musical excellence. His voice may rest, but his spirit will sing on forever.
I'm lonely because maybe they don't want to hang out with like a young. I just started thinking like maybe.
Breaking news. Selena Gomez, a voice of strength, grace, and reinvention. Selena Gomez is more than a pop star. She is a survivor, a storyteller, and a symbol of resilience in a world that often demands perfection. With a voice that has matured alongside her spirit, Selena has carved out a space for herself in music, television, and the hearts of millions. Her journey, from child star to global icon, is a testament not only to her talent, but to her capacity to endure, evolve, and emerge stronger with every challenge. As she steps into a new era with new music, love, and purpose, Selena reminds us that healing and hope can go hand in hand with fame and vulnerability. Born on July 22, 1992 in Grand Prairie, Texas, Selena Marie Gomez was destined for the spotlight. Rising to fame on Disney Channel's Wizards of Waverly Place, she quickly became a household name. But her ambition stretched far beyond scripted magic. She transitioned from teenage sitcoms to the music industry with stunning ease, releasing multi-platinum records like Revival and Rare, delivering hits such as Come and Get It, Lose You to Love Me, and Good for You. Each song felt like a chapter in her personal diary, tender, raw, and real. Whether singing about heartbreak or self-discovery, Selena made vulnerability her greatest strength. But fame came with a price. Behind the glow of the red carpet were years of health battles and personal hardship. Diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease, Selena underwent a life-saving kidney transplant in 2017, with her close friend, Francia Raisa, as the donor. It was a moment that drew the world's attention, not only to the silent toll of chronic illness, but to the depth of Selena's courage. Later, she opened up about her mental health, revealing her diagnosis of bipolar disorder. Instead of hiding, she chose to speak. When I found out, I felt equal parts terrified and relieved, she shared. Understanding it helped me stop fearing it. These revelations were not just cathartic, they were revolutionary. In an industry that too often glorifies image over integrity, Selena used her platform to advocate for mental health, launching the Rare Impact Fund to provide mental health resources to underserved communities. She became a voice for the voiceless, showing fans that it's okay to struggle, to fall, and to get back up again. Her openness has inspired countless others to seek help, speak up, and embrace their imperfect selves. Now, in 2025, Selena stands at another beautiful turning point. Her upcoming collaborative album with fiancé Benny Blanco, I Said I Love You First, marks not only a musical union, but a celebration of love, trust, and growth. Scheduled for release on March 21st, the album promises an intimate look into their journey as a couple and as artists. Their recent appearances, including their sweet red carpet debut at the 2025 Golden Globes, reflect a happiness that feels grounded, earned, and deeply genuine. Fans have watched Selena rise from heartbreak into healing, and now they get to witness her sing from a place of joy. Selena's creative energy remains boundless. In addition to music, she continues to shine as the co-lead and executive producer of the acclaimed series Only Murders in the Building. Her performance has earned her critical praise, not just for her comedic timing, but for the quiet vulnerability she brings to the screen. Whether playing Mabel or herself, Selena radiates authenticity, a rare and precious quality in today's entertainment landscape. Every project she touches feels rooted in purpose, whether it's telling a compelling story or opening a conversation that matters. Even as her career thrives, Selena remains profoundly human. She has shared moments of doubt and solitude, of learning to let go and learning to love again. "It's okay to not be okay," she once said, a phrase that has become a lifeline for so many. She speaks often of the importance of therapy, self-care, and surrounding oneself with honesty. In a world that can be overwhelming, she offers something grounding: truth. Not curated, not filtered, just truth. Selena Gomez is not just living her story, she is writing it. One note, one word, one brave step at a time. Her legacy isn't built on chart positions or awards, though she has plenty, but on impact. On the lives she's changed through empathy. On the fans she's lifted through song. On the quiet revolution she leads by simply showing up as she is. What does Selena Gomez's journey mean to you? As she continues to break boundaries and boldly step into new beginnings, we celebrate not only the artist, but also the woman behind the spotlight. Through pain, she discovered strength. Through vulnerability, she created connection. And through music, she found a unique, beautiful voice all her own, strong, steady, and profound. Share your thoughts, favorite moments, or how Selena inspires you in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you too. If her story resonates with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a tribute, story, or celebration of the voices that touch us. Let's keep her spirit alive. Amid the countless captivating sounds of the 90s, there was a melody sweet and soulful, born straight from the heart of an artist, Dwayne Wiggins, the co-founder of the legendary R&B group Tony, took his final breath this past Friday at the age of 64 after over a year of bravely battling bladder cancer. His family confirmed the heartbreaking news in a deeply moving statement, paying tribute to a life devoted to music and community. Together with his brother, Raphael Saadiq, and cousin Christian Riley, Wiggins helped define the signature sound of the New Jack Swing era, where R&B, jazz, and gospel influences blended into unforgettable hits like Anniversary, It Never Rains in Southern California, and Lay Your Head on My Pillow. Hailing from Oakland, the group not only topped charts, but became a vital part of the musical memory of an entire generation. Beyond the spotlight, Wiggins was a quiet guide and mentor for emerging talent. He played a key role in shaping the early careers of stars like Zendaya, Her, Kalani, and Destiny's Child. Though the group once faced internal rifts driven by fame and industry pressures, Wiggins never wavered in his love for music and family. At last, the original trio reunited in 2023 in a powerful moment of reconciliation, closing past wounds with a shared embrace. Dwayne Wiggins may have left this world, but the melodies he poured from his soul will echo on, like a love song that never fades.
Launch recording artist.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can pay me later.
Bob Perkins, affectionately known as BP with the GM, was more than just a broadcaster. He was the heartbeat of Philadelphia's jazz scene. For decades, his soulful, melodic voice transported listeners into a world of rhythm, warmth, and reflection. With each carefully selected recording and each tender phrase, he breathed life into jazz, not just as a genre, but as a shared experience of beauty and endurance. Born and raised in South Philadelphia, Perkins began his radio career in Detroit in 1964 before returning home to work at WDAS, where he handled news and editing. But his passion was jazz. From WHYY to his iconic 25-year tenure at Temple University's WRTI, where he hosted Evening Jazz, he introduced the genre to generations with charm and depth. His knowledge was deep, but it was his warmth and humility that made him a beloved figure to both seasoned jazz lovers and newcomers. Perkins' life was not without its struggles. He battled the pressures of a changing media landscape and endured personal health challenges, including a major stroke in 2019. While the stroke marked a turning point, it did not dampen his spirit. He gradually stepped down from full-time duties in 2022 and retired from his beloved Sunday Jazz Brunch in 2023. Even then, he stayed in touch through his podcast, Stay Tuned with Bob Perkins, continuing to share his passion from behind the microphone. Bob Perkins passed away on Sunday, January 19th, 2025, at the age of 91, after spending 2 weeks in the hospital. His wife, Dr. Sheila Perkins, shared that he remained active and engaged until the end of his life. Still writing, still planning, still immersed in the world he loved. His voice may be silent now, but his legacy will resonate on the airwaves and in the hearts of those he inspired.
Very young, but then you bought that guitar and you run our happy home.
Beneath the soft glow of Hollywood's golden age, Jan Shepard stood as a quiet force, elegant, enduring, and deeply beloved. Best remembered for her roles opposite Elvis Presley in King Creole, 1958, and Paradise, Hawaiian Style, 1966, Shepard passed away on January 17th at a hospital in Burbank, California, at the age of 96. Her passing, caused by pneumonia resulting from respiratory failure, marked the end of a long and private struggle with declining health, a challenge she met with grace and quiet resilience. In King Creole, often considered Presley's most cherished film, Shepard portrayed Mimi, the gentle yet determined sister of Elvis's character. Off-screen, their connection blossomed into a warm friendship, rich with fond memories. From playful wardrobe coincidences to surprise birthday parties where Presley, affectionately calling her "my sister," gifted her a stuffed tiger. Though initially unfamiliar with his music, she later admitted, "When I met him, I just adored him." Shepard's career extended far beyond the silver screen. She was a fixture of American television in the 1950s and 60s, appearing in more than 30 westerns such as Gunsmoke, The Virginian, and Perry Mason. Navigating a male-dominated industry, she pushed against typecasting and carved space for more layered female roles, most notably in The Clear Horizon, where she starred in over 250 episodes. Though she retired from acting in the early 1970s, Jan Shepard's legacy endures. Her quiet strength, luminous presence, and lifelong devotion to her craft remain etched in the memories of film and television history, a true, if often overlooked, gem of Hollywood's golden era.
I was born in Chicago, and Second City.
On November 3rd, 2024, as reported by Variety, the legendary Quincy Jones, the man who reshaped the landscape of global entertainment, passed away at the age of 91 in his Bel Air home, surrounded by family. Though the reason for his passing has not been revealed, the world mourns the profound loss of a musical titan whose heart and soul have touched generations. Quincy Jones's life was not just a shining crescendo of fame. It was a powerful journey through hardship, resilience, and triumph. Born during an era of harsh racial segregation in Chicago, he grew up in poverty, witnessed his mother struggle with severe mental illness, and endured a childhood marked by instability and emotional hardship. Yet from that darkness, he carved a path illuminated by music, his sanctuary and salvation, guiding him from the shadows of despair to the brightest stages on earth. Jones broke barriers and shattered ceilings. He was the first African American to compose music for a major Hollywood film, The Pawnbroker, 1964, and the first Black artist to receive the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award. He survived life-threatening brain aneurysms and battled relentless racial prejudice. And still, he created miracles. The iconic Michael Jackson albums Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, and the global anthem We Are the World, which united over 40 superstar voices to aid Africa and won 3 Grammy Awards. With 27 Grammys, 7 Oscar nominations, and countless honors, Quincy Jones was not just a music producer. He was a storyteller, a humanitarian, a visionary. His family wrote, "Quincy's heart will beat forever through everything he created, music, love, and light." Today, the world says goodbye to a legend, but the echoes of his life's masterpiece will continue to resonate long after the final spotlight has dimmed.
Well, they sat around cheating auklets and magging Rita-zines.
Wayne Osmond, an original member of the legendary band The Osmonds, passed away peacefully on January 1st, 2025 in Salt Lake City at the age of 73. In his final moments, he was surrounded by his loving wife and 5 children as his family shared. His legacy is faith, music, love, and laughter, things that have touched the hearts of millions around the world. Along with his brothers Alan, Merrill, and Jay from their early singing days at the LDS Church in Ogden, Utah, Wayne soon made his mark with his soulful voice. The Osmond brothers went from a quartet to a national phenomenon after being discovered at Disneyland and appearing on The Andy Williams Show in 1962. They peaked when Donnie Marie and then Jimmy joined, leading the group to multiple gold records and hits like One Bad Apple, Yo-Yo, and Love Me for a Reason. Wayne's life has been about more than just performing on stage. It's also about overcoming adversity. Having suffered a brain tumor as a child and battling carcinoma, a disease that often kills children, he was still performing just 6 months after treatment, despite having lost much of his strength. Another major blow came in 2012 when he suffered a dangerous stroke, continuing a series of challenges he faced with humility and a plea for help. "My brother was a man of no pretense of forgiveness and unconditional love," his brother Merrill wrote with emotion. "A man born a saint, and a greater saint to die." Wayne Osmond was more than just an artist. He was a human icon, the soul of a musical family and a living testament to faith, love, and eternal light.
Are you hurt? What happened?
Claude Jarman Jr., the wide-eyed boy who once captured the heart of Hollywood, has passed away at the age of 90. He died peacefully in his sleep at his home in Marin County, California, surrounded by love and the quiet legacy of a life that began in stardom and blossomed into something far deeper. His wife of 38 years, Katie Jarman, confirmed his passing was due to natural causes, the gentle end to a journey that began with a single, life-changing moment in a 5th-grade classroom. At just 10 years old, Claude was plucked from obscurity in Nashville by director Clarence Brown and cast in The Yearling, 1946, where he gave a tender, unforgettable performance as Jody Baxter, a lonely boy who finds solace in an orphaned fawn. The role earned him a special Juvenile Academy Award presented by Shirley Temple. But behind the scenes, the road was demanding. The film took 2 years to shoot, and one scene with the deer required 115 takes. Claude met every challenge with the quiet strength and wonder that would define his life. Though his Hollywood journey slowed in the years that followed, Claude never lost his connection to storytelling. He earned a degree from Vanderbilt, served as a Navy publicist, and later led the San Francisco International Film Festival, devoting 15 years to nurturing the very art that once shaped him. In 2019, he was honored for that dedication, not as a star, but as a steward of cinema. He is survived by his loving wife, 7 children, and 8 grandchildren. Claude Jarman Jr. was more than a child actor. He was a symbol of innocence, a man of substance, and a bridge between the magic of old Hollywood and the human heart. Marshall Salal, the revered French jazz pianist whose imagination, elegance, and virtuosity shaped the European jazz scene for more than 7 decades, has died at the age of 97. He died on December 12, 2024, in Versailles, Le Figaro reported. Although no official cause was given, his passing marked the end of a brilliant and uncompromising musical life, one that blossomed despite hardship and endured with grace. Born in Algiers in 1927, Solal's early years were shadowed by the cruelty of war and discrimination. Expelled from school at just 7 due to anti-Jewish laws under the Nazi regime, he pursued music in private, guided by his mother's love for opera and inspired by early jazz recordings. From those beginnings, he rose to perform with legends like Sidney Bechet, Django Reinhardt, and later Duke Ellington and Dizzy Gillespie, who admired his prodigious technique and creativity. Solal's legacy stretches far beyond the stage. He composed the iconic modern jazz score for Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, 1960, cementing his place in both jazz and film history. Equally masterful in solo, duo, trio, and big band settings, Solal's playing was full of wit, complexity, and unrelenting originality, likened by many to the great Art Tatum. His collaborations with Dave Liebman, Lee Konitz, and Johnny Griffin showcased a restless brilliance that kept even the most seasoned musicians on edge. Have the melodies of Marshall Solal ever stirred something in your soul? Did his fearless improvisations or cinematic scores move you in ways words couldn't? If so, we invite you to share a memory or a message below. Let us come together in tribute, not just to Solal, but to the spirit of jazz and the eternal echo of legends who, like him, left the world more beautiful than they found it.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Breaking news. Jim Carrey. Behind the laughter, a life of depth, darkness, and daring truths. Jim Carrey, the electrifying force of comedy and drama, has long been one of Hollywood's most iconic and enigmatic figures. With his elastic expressions, high-octane energy, and unforgettable performances in The Mask, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and The Truman Show, Carrey redefined what it means to be a performer. But behind the laughter and the spotlight lies a deeper story, one of inner battles, quiet transformation, and a man in pursuit of something far greater than fame. What truly drives Jim Carrey? How does someone known for making the world laugh deal with the shadows within? As we reflect on his extraordinary career, we also take a moment to honor his resilience, vulnerability, and evolution as an artist and a human being. Born on January 17, 1962, in Ontario, Canada, Carrey discovered his gift for mimicry and performance at an early age. His childhood, however, was marked by hardship. His family faced financial difficulties so severe that they lived in a van for a time, and young Jim worked as a janitor to support them. Yet through adversity, he found solace in comedy, using it as both shield and salvation. By the late 1980s, Carrey had made his way to Los Angeles, where his breakout on In Living Color launched a new era of physical, fearless humor that set him apart from every comedian of his time. His meteoric rise in the 1990s with hits like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Dumb and Dumber, and Liar Liar made him a household name. But Carrey refused to be boxed in. He stunned audiences and critics alike with dramatic turns in The Truman Show and Man on the Moon, proving he wasn't just a comic genius, he was an actor of remarkable depth. His portrayal of Andy Kaufman was so immersive that it blurred the line between character and self. That tension, between performance and identity, would become a defining theme in Carrey's life and work. Yet fame, as he has candidly shared, came at a cost. In interviews and his 2017 documentary Jim and Andy, Carrey opened up about his battle with depression, a condition he wrestled with for many years. I was sometimes happy, but mostly I just felt like I was playing a character who was happy, he once said. For Carey, success did not silence the deeper questions. Who am I when the cameras stop? What's left when the applause fades? These questions led him not away from the spotlight, but inward, to art, to philosophy, to self-discovery. His later years have been marked by a quieter, more introspective presence. A passionate painter and writer, Carey turned to visual art as a form of emotional release and social commentary. His politically charged artwork drew attention for its bold style and unfiltered messages. More than fame or fortune, Carey now seems to seek honesty, in himself, in his work, and in his message to others. Depression is your body saying, "I don't want to be this character anymore," he once said in a viral video that touched millions. Carey also stirred conversation with his bold response to one of Hollywood's most controversial moments, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock during the 2022 Oscars. In a widely circulated video, Carey condemned the moment, not only the act of violence itself, but the way Hollywood responded. He called it spineless that the audience gave Smith a standing ovation shortly after the incident, insisting that violence should never be normalized or rewarded. Carey defended the right to freedom of speech, particularly in comedy, where uncomfortable truths often find expression through humor. He highlighted the dangerous precedent such acts set and how the incident has lasting repercussions, not just for Chris Rock and Will Smith, but for all artists navigating the fragile boundary between comedy and offense. Of course, Carey's life has not been without controversy. The tragic death of his former girlfriend, Catriona White, in 2015, led to public scrutiny and legal battles that left deep emotional scars. Though ultimately exonerated, the experience reinforced his desire for privacy and his retreat from Hollywood's harsh glare. The emotional weight of grief, paired with media speculation, pushed Carey further along his journey of healing, one guided more by introspection than performance. After a period of semi-retirement, Carey returned to the big screen as Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog, delighting longtime fans. But even this return was tempered by reflection. In 2024, he announced he would only take roles that deeply spoke to him, stating, "I've done enough. I am enough." His words echoed not resignation, but peace, a rare and precious thing in an industry obsessed with more. Carey, now more than ever, seems committed to living truthfully, not just performing it. Throughout his career, Carey has defied expectations. He has made us laugh until we cried, and then held up a mirror to show us the man behind the mask. His story is not simply one of success, but of transformation, from struggling janitor to global star, from comic whirlwind to thoughtful artist. Through triumphs and trials, he has remained uniquely himself, raw, real, and unafraid to change. Has Jim Carrey's journey touched your heart? Have his performances, or his honesty about depression and healing, inspired you in some way? Leave a message below to pay tribute, share your thoughts, or reflect on how his story resonates with your own. Together, let's celebrate not just the entertainer, but the human being behind the spotlight, and honor him as we do all the legends who remind us what it truly means to feel.